Right now, somewhere in Britain, a fridge is quietly ruining hundreds of pounds of food. And in summer it gets worse. Warm kitchens, sweaty salad drawers, milk turning sour before the weekend's even started. The average household bins around 700 pounds of food a year, and here's the uncomfortable bit. The supermarkets are perfectly happy about that. A family that wastes food is a family that shops twice as often. But your nan ran a whole household without half the kit we've got, and she wasted almost nothing. Number 14 on this list keeps strawberries firm for well over a week. And number 3 is something nearly every British kitchen gets completely wrong. Hit that subscribe button before we start, because this might genuinely cut your food bill in half. Let's count down. Number 25. Milk at the back, never the door. This is the one everyone gets wrong the moment they walk in from Tesco. That handy shelf in the door feels like the natural home for a 4-pinter. But it's the warmest spot in the whole fridge. Every time you open the door, that milk gets a blast of kitchen air, and in July that means it turns days early. Your nan, if she had a fridge at all, kept the milk on the coldest shelf at the back where the temperature barely moves. Push it right to the rear, near the bottom, and it'll happily last to its date and beyond. The door is for jars of chutney and things that don't care. A pint costs what it costs now, so wasting one because you parked it in the wrong place is money poured straight down the sink. Number 24. Get a fridge thermometer. Here's a secret the appliance makers would rather you didn't dwell on. That little dial inside your fridge marked 1 to 5 means almost nothing. It's not degrees. It's a vague suggestion. Meanwhile, your food needs to sit at 5 degrees or below to stay safe and fresh. And in a hot kitchen, most fridges quietly drift warmer than that. A cheap little thermometer, a couple of quid, sits on the middle shelf and tells you the truth. Nudge the dial until it reads between 0 and 5, and suddenly everything lasts longer. Milk, meat, leftovers, the lot. Bacteria double in number roughly every 20 minutes once things warm up. Keeping it cold isn't fussiness. It's the single most important thing standing between you and a bin full of spoiled food. Number 23. Let the cold air move. We treat the fridge like a cupboard and cram every last shelf until the door barely shuts. But a fridge cools by circulating cold air, and if it's packed solid, that air can't reach the middle. You end up with warm pockets where food spoils fast while the edges freeze. Your grandmother's larder worked on exactly this principle. Shelves spaced, air moving, nothing suffocating. Leave gaps between items. Don't shove the back vents up against a wall of yogurt pots. In summer especially, an overstuffed fridge is a warm fridge, and a warm fridge is why your salad went slimy by Wednesday. A little breathing room is free, and it does more than any gadget you could buy. Number 22. Stand your herbs in water like a bouquet. Fresh coriander and parsley from the shop cost about £1 a bag and turn to black sludge in 3 days flat. The trick your nan used for garden cuttings works just as well here. Trim the ends, stand the bunch upright in a glass with an inch of cold water, pop a loose freezer bag over the top, and put it in the fridge door. Treated like flowers, they'll stay green and perky for 2 weeks, sometimes 3. The stems keep drinking, the leaves stay firm. Basil is the one exception. It hates the cold and prefers the windowsill. For everything else, this one habit turns a pound bag of herbs from a 2-day gamble into something you'll actually finish. No more scraping slime off the salad drawer. Number 21. Keep eggs in their carton, off the door. That neat little egg rack molded into your fridge door might be the most useless feature ever designed. The door is the warmest, most jostled spot in the fridge, and eggs sitting exposed pick up every whiff of onion and fish around them because the shell is porous. Your nan knew eggs kept best cool and still, so leave them in the cardboard box they came in, on a shelf, pointy end down. The carton shields them from smells and stops them rattling about, and the date printed on the box gives you a proper record. Eggs are one of the longest-lasting things in a British kitchen when they're stored right, often good for weeks. Take them out of that daft little rack and you'll stop losing them to the fridge's warmest corner. Number 20. Wrap cheese in wax paper, not cling film. This is the mistake practically every household makes, and the cheesemongers wince every time they see it. Cheese is alive. It needs to breathe. Suffocate a lovely bit of cheddar in cling film, and you trap moisture against the surface, and within days it's sweating. Then it's growing something blue you didn't pay for. Your grandmother wrapped cheese in greaseproof or wax paper, which lets it breathe while holding just enough moisture. Do the same, then tuck it into a loose bag or box in the warmest part of the fridge, usually a drawer. Cheddar wrapped this way keeps for weeks and actually matures nicely instead of dying under plastic. A roll of greaseproof costs pennies. Cling film is convenient, but for cheese, it's a slow execution. Number 19. Leave the butter out. Here's one that sounds like heresy in a video about fridges, but hear me out. Butter kept in the fridge comes out rock hard, tears your toast to shreds, and gets used slowly, which means it sits around picking up fridge smells for weeks. Your nan kept a butter dish on the side, or one of those clever French butter bells that seal the butter under a little water to keep the air out. Salted butter especially is perfectly happy at room temperature for a good week or two. The salt keeps it safe. It spreads like a dream. It tastes better, and you actually get through it. Keep the spare block in the fridge, but a small dish out on the counter means better toast and less waste. Sometimes the fridge isn't the answer at all. First pattern break. Here's where it gets interesting, because this next one explains half the mysteries in your kitchen. Number 18. Keep bananas away from everything else. Bananas are quiet little saboteurs. They give off a gas called ethylene, an invisible ripening agent. And it doesn't just ripen the banana. It speeds up the decay of everything sitting near it. Pop a banana in the fruit bowl next to your apples and avocados, and you've just started a chain reaction. Your grandmother didn't know the chemistry, but she knew to keep the bananas on their own hook, away from the rest. Store them apart. And if you want to slow them down, wrap a bit of cling film around the stems. That's where most of the gas escapes. And never put unripe bananas in the fridge. The cold turns the skins black. But the real lesson is bigger. Ethylene is why your fruit bowl turns overnight. Separate the culprits and everything lasts longer. Number 17. Tomatoes never belong in the fridge. This is the one that starts arguments, but the science is settled, and your Italian neighbor was right all along. Cold ruins tomatoes. It stops them ripening, kills the flavor dead, and turns the flesh mealy and floury. A shop tomato that goes in the fridge comes out tasting of wet cardboard. Keep them on the counter, stems side down, out of direct sun, and they'll ripen properly and taste of something. The only time they go in the fridge is if they're already dead ripe and about to go, and even then, bring them back to room temperature before eating. Your nan kept her tomatoes on the windowsill for a reason. We started fridging them because the supermarket display did, and we've been eating flavorless tomatoes ever since. Number 16. Onions and potatoes. Never together, never in the fridge. Two of the cheapest, most useful things in any British kitchen, and we store them both completely wrong. Potatoes in the fridge turn their starch to sugar, going sweet and grainy and browning oddly when cooked. And onions stored next to potatoes make them sprout twice as fast, each one giving off moisture and gas the other hates. Your grandmother kept potatoes in a paper sack in a cool, dark cupboard, and onions somewhere separate, dry and airy, often in old tights hung up in the pantry. Keep them apart. Keep them out of the fridge. Keep them out of the light, and both will last for months instead of weeks. It's the oldest storage wisdom in Britain, and modern kitchens forgot it the day we started dumping everything in one drawer. Number 15. Wrap broccoli and celery in foil. Here's a trick that feels wrong but works like magic. Celery bought in that plastic bag it comes in goes limp and bendy within days because the plastic traps the ethylene it produces and speeds its own decline. Wrap the whole head tightly in aluminium foil instead, and it'll snap crisp for 2 weeks or more. The foil lets the gas escape while keeping the moisture in, the exact opposite of what the plastic does. The same trick works a treat on broccoli, keeping the florets green and tight instead of yellowing and flowering. Your nan would have used greaseproof or a damp cloth, but foil does the job beautifully. It's such a small thing, a bit of foil off a roll you already own, but it's the difference between crunchy celery and a fridge drawer full of sad rubber. Number 14. Don't wash your berries until you eat them. Strawberries and raspberries in summer are gorgeous and gone in 2 days, half of them fuzzy with mold before you've finished the punnet. The mistake is washing them the moment you get home. Water left on berries is what breeds the mold. Instead, leave them dry until the very moment you want them, and if you want to go further, your grandmother's trick was a quick bath in 1 part white vinegar to 3 parts water, a gentle swirl, then dry them thoroughly and store in a paper-lined container. The vinegar kills the mold spores on the surface, and you can't taste it once they're rinsed and dried. Stored this way, strawberries hold firm for well over a week. A punnet's dear in summer. Don't let half of it turn to fuzz because you rinsed too early. Number 13. Mushrooms go in paper, never plastic. That plastic-wrapped punnet mushrooms come in is a sweatbox. Mushrooms are mostly water, and sealed in plastic they perspire, go slimy, and turn that unpleasant brownish black in days. Your nan would have kept them in a paper bag, and that's still the answer. Tip them into a brown paper bag, fold the top over, and pop it in the fridge. The paper absorbs the excess moisture and lets them breathe, so they stay firm and dry fry beautifully a week later. If they came loose from the market, even better, straight in the bag. It's such a humble fix, a paper bag you'd otherwise throw away, but it takes mushrooms from a 2-day sulk to a proper week of usefulness. The plastic they're sold in is working against you from the moment you get home. Second pattern break. Now here's where the supermarkets really don't want you paying attention. Number 12. Salad leaves last with a sheet of kitchen roll. Bagged salad is one of the great cons of the modern shop. You pay a premium for washed leaves in a puffed-up bag, and 3 days later, it's a slimy green soup you're scraping into the caddy. The reason is moisture. The leaves sweat inside that sealed bag and rot in their own damp. The fix costs nothing. Open the bag, drop in a folded sheet of kitchen roll, and reseal it loosely. The paper drinks up the excess moisture, and the leaves stay crisp for a week or more. Do the same with a whole lettuce. Wrap it in a slightly damp cloth or paper. The supermarket sells you convenience, but bagged salad is designed to fail fast, so you buy it again next week. 1 bit of kitchen roll quietly breaks that whole cycle. Number 11. Stand spring onions and asparagus in a jar of water. Treat certain vegetables like the living things they are, and they'll reward you. Spring onions bought in a bunch wilt into slimy string within days, shoved in a drawer. Instead, stand them root down in a jar with an inch of water, just like a little bouquet, and keep them on a shelf. They'll stay firm and green for a fortnight, and honestly, they'll keep growing. Asparagus, that expensive summer treat, does exactly the same. Trim the ends, stand it upright in a couple of centimeters of water, and loosely cover the tips. It stays snappy and sweet instead of going woody and limp. Your grandmother kept cut flowers alive this way and knew instinctively that stems drink. Apply the same care to these vegetables and you'll stop throwing money into the bin every week. Number 10. Keep carrots and other roots submerged in water. Carrots are cheap, but a bag of them turns bendy and pale within a fortnight, and nobody wants a floppy carrot. The trick is to peel or top them, pop them in an airtight container, and cover them completely with cold water. Stored underwater in the fridge, carrots stay hard, bright orange, and snappy for weeks, sometimes a month. Just change the water every few days if it goes cloudy. The same works for other cut root veg. It sounds strange, keeping vegetables in a bath, but roots are used to sitting in cool, damp soil, and this recreates it. Your nan clamped her root veg in sand in the shed for exactly this reason, to keep the moisture in and the air out. A tub of water in the fridge is the modern version, and it works a treat. Number 9. Half an onion, cut side down, sealed in glass. We've all been there. A recipe needs half an onion, and the other half sits in the fridge sweating oniony fumes into everything, going slimy and sad. Don't just chuck it in a drawer naked. Place the cut half flat, cut side down, on a small plate or better still in a glass container with a lid, and it seals the surface and keeps the smell in. Stored this way, half an onion stays perfectly good for a week or more, ready for the next meal. The old wives' tale that a cut onion goes poisonous is nonsense, but an exposed one does dry out and taint everything around it. A little glass tub with a proper lid. the sort your grandmother kept a whole shelf of, solves it completely. Nothing wasted. No fridge stinking of onion. Number 8. Revive limp veg in ice water. Before you bin that bendy celery, the tired carrots, the wilted lettuce that's lost its will to live, try what your nan did. Limpness isn't rot, it's just water loss, and often it's completely reversible. Fill a bowl with cold water, add a good handful of ice, and plunge the sad vegetables in for anything from 30 minutes to a couple of hours. They drink the water back up through cut ends and cell walls and come back crisp and firm, practically resurrected. A splash of vinegar in the water helps clean them too. This one trick alone will stop you throwing out veg that's perfectly good, just thirsty. Your grandmother lived through years when nothing edible got binned, and she knew that a bowl of cold water could rescue almost anything green. Try it once and you'll never bin limp veg again. Third pattern break. This next one is the mistake nearly everyone makes without a second thought. Number 7. Bread belongs in the freezer, not the fridge. Here's a myth that costs Britain a fortune. People stash their bread in the fridge thinking cold keeps it fresh. It does the exact opposite. The fridge is the perfect temperature to make bread go stale fastest, drying it hard and cardboardy in days through a process called retrogradation. Your grandmother kept bread in a bread bin at room temperature and used it quick, and for anything longer she froze it. Slice your loaf, freeze it in a bag, and pull out slices as you need them, straight into the toaster, no defrosting. It tastes just baked. A frozen loaf keeps for months instead of the fridge staling it in a week. So the humble bread bin beats the fridge, and the freezer beats them both. The one place a loaf should never, ever go is the fridge, and yet that's exactly where half of us put it. Number 6. Raw meat on the bottom, everything zoned. This one's about safety as much as freshness, and it's the rule the food inspectors care about most. Raw meat and fish should always sit on the very bottom shelf, in a sealed tub or on a plate, so that if anything drips, it can't contaminate the food below. In a warm summer fridge, cross-contamination is how a lovely salad becomes a bad night. Above that, cooked foods and leftovers. Dairy in the middle, where it's steadily cold. Condiments and drinks in the door, the warm zone because they don't mind. Your grandmother's larder had its own strict geography. Meat kept low on the cold slab, everything in its place. A fridge is the same. Give everything its proper zone and food stays both safer and fresher, and you stop the quiet chaos that spoils things early. Number 5. A box of bicarb kills the smells that spoil food. Ever noticed how everything in a whiffy fridge starts to taste faintly of everything else and goes off quicker too? Those smells are gases, and they speed decay while tainting your butter and cheese. The old fix your nan swore by costs about 30 pence. Open a small tub of bicarbonate of soda and leave it on a shelf. It absorbs odors and moisture from the air, keeping the whole fridge fresher and neutral. Replace it every month or so. You can do the same with a bit of leftover coffee grounds or a cut lemon in a saucer. A clean, dry, sweet-smelling fridge simply keeps food longer than a damp, smelly one because the same conditions that cause the pong cause the spoiling. It's the cheapest trick on this list, and it works away quietly in the background all summer long. Fourth pattern break. And here's the one that turns a glut into free food all winter. Number 4. Blanch and freeze the summer glut. Summer buries us in cheap veg, gluts of beans, peas, courgettes, spinach, berries going for pennies at the market or piling up in the garden, and most of it rots before we can eat it. Your grandmother never let that happen. The trick is blanching, a quick dip of the veg in boiling water for a minute or two, then straight into ice-cold water to stop the cooking, then dried and bagged into the freezer. That brief blast stops the enzymes that would otherwise turn frozen veg mushy and grey, so it comes out months later still green, still firm, still full of flavour and goodness. Berries just freeze on a tray, then bag up. It's a bit of work on a Sunday, but it turns a cheap summer glut into a freezer full of proper veg for the dark months. Nothing wasted, everything saved. Number 3. Learn what those crisper drawer sliders actually do. This is the thing almost every British kitchen gets completely wrong, and I'd put money on you never having touched it. Look inside your salad drawers and you'll usually find a little slider marked with a picture or the words low and high or fruit and veg. That's a humidity control, and it's the most ignored feature in the whole fridge. High humidity, slider closed, is for leafy greens and things that wilt. It traps moisture so they don't dry out. Low humidity, slider open, is for fruit and anything that rots. It lets the ethylene gas escape so it doesn't ripen itself to death. Put your lettuce in the high drawer and your apples in the low one, and both last dramatically longer. Most of us have had it set wrong for years, quietly killing our veg, never knowing the little slider was even there. Number 2. Squeeze the air out and seal it tight. Air is the enemy of freshness. It dries things out, it carries the smells, and it's full of the oxygen that spoils and browns your food. Half the reason leftovers go off is that we store them in bowls under a loose bit of cling film with air all around. Your grandmother sealed things properly, in Kilner jars, in tubs with tight lids, in grease-proof folded snug. Do the same. Decant leftovers into airtight containers filled right to the top so there's little air left. Press cling film directly onto the surface of things like custard or cut fruit. If you've got a vacuum sealer, even better, it can double or triple how long meat and cheese last. The less air touching your food, the slower it dies. It's the simplest principle on this list, and it works on absolutely everything. And number 1, chill it fast, the 2-hour rule and the cold slab. This is the habit that matters more than any gadget, and it's pure grandmother wisdom. When food comes out of the oven or the pan, the clock starts ticking. Left sitting warm on the side, it drifts through the exact temperatures where bacteria breed fastest, and by the time it hits the fridge, the damage is done and it'll spoil in a day. The rule is simple. Get cooked food cooled and into the fridge within 2 hours, and in a hot summer kitchen, sooner. To cool it fast, spread it into shallow dishes rather than one deep pot, or sit the pan in a sink of cold water. Your nan did this on a cold marble larder slab, the coldest surface in the house, precisely to get food chilled before it could turn. Cool it quick, cover it, chill it, and your leftovers stay good for days instead of hours. She never had a thermometer or a humidity slider. She just understood that food, treated with care and respect, gives you far more than food left to fend for itself. That's the whole secret behind every trick on this list. So there's your challenge. Pick just one this week. Stand your herbs in water, wrap the celery in foil, freeze your bread, or find that little slider you never knew you had. Then come back and tell me in the comments which one saved your food and whether your nan was doing it all along. Because your grandmother knew, now you know too.